Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Roll 'em If You Got 'em and another 6 weeks of SLAPCHOP video. I am Carl, as always, joined with Dakota.
Hello, everybody.
All right, this week we are taking a look at my PBR, my Plague Burst Rhino. It's a project that I've wanted to work on for a while now, and it's 3D modeled and basically a 3D model kitbash. Handful of I think I got like 3 different files and then like just random bits that I kind of modeled into one thing, and I printed it all in one piece. My color scheme for this. So we went SLAPCHOP. We're going to apply the green out of an airbrush. This is my green mixture. It is 2 parts Malignant Green by Army Painter Speed Paint, 2 parts Game Color Goblin Green, 1 part Zealot Yellow. Is it called Zealot Yellow? I think it is. Here it is. Yes, Zealot Yellow from Speed Paint, Army Painter Speed Paint. And then just a little bit of airbrush thinner. I have applied this. This is my normal green that I'm going with here. If you see that little Space Marine over there to the right, top right kind of thing, he's the same exact green, very good color match. We'll actually throw an image of him up next to the PBR here. But the color's the same, whether it comes out of the airbrush or it's brushed on. And then here it is, post airbrushing. It's just it goes on a little smoother. I think it does sometimes do a better job of showing off the slap choppiness. Just because it I guess it does go on a little thinner, maybe, just coming out of that airbrush. For my bronze bits, I go with Hardened Leather by Army Painter Speed Paint. The PBR next to that SLAPCHOP model, though, won't look the same because this got the grime, streaking grime effects. That this is the first time I've used it on Plague Marines or Death Guard anything, and I'm 99% sure that it's going to be my new look. It's gonna be the thing. Dakota and I have been talking a lot lately, like on how I need to figure out a damn color scheme for my Death Guard, because I go back and forth a lot on like, oh, I like this green, I like this green, I like this, all of these things, and how I finally need to choose a scheme. This PBR is going to be my scheme. So anything that got bronzed, anything that's going to be bronze, gets hit with the Hardened Leather by Army Painter Speed Paint first. And then now anything that's going to be a more metallic metal is just going to get hit with like a silvery metal is going to get hit with Grim Black from Army Painter Speed Paint. Which, it's not a lot on this guy. I picked out these little vents here. And then the exhaust, which I do another effect with them, something that I've been wanting to try for a while. I've seen other people do it, but it's kind of one of them things where, like, I honestly always saw it a little intimidating. We'll get to that when we get there. And then, like, just like the, whatever that little, this gun here.
Your little Melta-gun.
Yeah, I just hit the whole thing with black because I didn't want to spend a ton of time on this guy. Or, on this little gun. I wasn't too concerned with it. But it actually ends up being a really nice part of the piece when it's all said and done, I think, because of this exhaust effect that we pull off.
Yeah, I mean, like, so far, I think it's looking good so far. I mean, it's blocked in. I think it looks very well blocked in with, like, the base colors. I know you do your metallics a little differently. And, I mean, it's basically just, like, setting yourself up, for your future steps of doing it how you want it.
Little rockets here coming in with some Slaughter Red. I think these are a nice touch to the piece because it's probably the biggest pop of color on this whole thing. We have some of like the Nurgly bits that when the video's said and done, those could probably use like a nice pink highlight. But they don't get it because I had spent enough time on it and I was tired of touching it. So maybe someday. All right, here are those Nurgly bits though. Any of like the bubble, organ kind of growy bits, they get hit with this purple alchemy. Just anything that, any tentacle looking things, any growth sort of things, they're going to get hit with this purple alchemy. It's just a nice kind of icky flesh tone, I think. And then any pox marks and these pits and things, I hit them with the Zealot Yellow right over top of just the regular green. They look kind of hard line right now. I'm hoping that when I do the streak and grime, it sort of blends everything's together.
Yeah.
But yep, just doing that to just kind of break up some of like these large green panels and stuff.
Yeah, you're basically like nurglifying this thing right now.
Yes, yeah. So here it is, getting ready for the metallic bits and things. Kind of miss this spot back here where it's like breaking out of the armor. So like it's nice, but like it's kind of too pretty right now, I guess, is why I feel like it needs the streak and grime. But Tarnished Brass by Reaper Paints comes in with like it's hard to call this a dry brush. So this is a really kind of crappy brush that I'm painting off camera with here. So like it is kind of dry brushy, but it's just a bad sort of scratchy brush.
You're basically doing like I forget what the word is actually called. Not doing a dry brush. It's like I've heard the term. I can't think of the term now.
Oh, I'm not sure which term you're
I've
thinking
I've,
of.
I've heard of a term where it's that you would use for that. Like you're not dry brushing. You're just doing kind of a dry brush.
Yeah, it's like, but it's like just painting with this really crappy brush. And I see
Yeah.
it gets kind of like I put it on real thick right there, so I just kind of feather that out. But I don't think that part ends up looking bad. So here we go. Here's the bronzy metallic bits. If anyone in chat knows the terms that Dakota is trying to think of right now, be sure to drop it, and then you will forever be smarter than him.
I think it's called something like overbrushing or something like that. I don't know. I saw it in the video.
Okay, interesting. I've heard the term now that you mention it. Metal bits, like silvery metal bits, coming in with Reaper's Tarnished Steel. Army Painter, if you're watching this and you want to send me metallic speed paints, you email us and I'll get you an address because I would love to try them. But
You could also send the Fanatic war set. I'd be open to that.
Yeah. All right. I pick out the like the plow spikes in silver.
Mhm.
So if you look at my regular Plague Burst Rhino, or nope, Plague Burst Crawler there in the back, that this is similar but different paint job. That's something I painted years ago. There's certain parts of that I wanted to change,
Mhm.
and that was one of them. Was those spikes? I didn't want those completely bronzed out and rusted. I wanted them more silvery.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great when you do that on a few spots because you can just it almost like adds that extra set of detail even though it's the same.
Right, right. So here is this exhaust look that I'm going for. And so I'm going blue on top here, and then purple underneath of it, the purple alchemy. It's still wet, and I'm just kind of wet blending these together, which is real nice with the speed paints. You don't have to water palette or wet palette. You don't have to wet palette or anything. I'll drop a link to a video where I kind of explain my wet blending process, but I don't wash my brush in between colors here. At the
Mhm.
very most, I'll wipe it right there. Just wipe it on the paper towel and then go get the new color and then push them together. This is kind of the exhaust look I end up with. That is the reference photo I was using there. And then I think I do just get some straight up speed paint medium and sort of wash the bottom of the orange color so I can feather it into the silver. But those are my exhaust pipes that, like I said, I've always found kind of super intimidating.
Mhm.
And then I was like, oh, I'm really happy with how easy those actually were.
Yeah, that's something that I've yet to try out is doing, some stuff like that where you do a little bit more, I wouldn't even say like an advanced technique, but you're just like taking a step of like, yeah, I have a steel exhaust vent here that I've like shaded and maybe highlighted, but it's like taking that like extra realistic step forward.
Yeah, that's what it's like a hyper realistic step, I
Mhm.
feel.
Yeah.
All right, streak and grime here. So we apply it very generously over the whole dude. We grab kind of a crappy brush there a minute ago, and I'm just making some vertical streaks because I want it to have that runny sort of look. And then you go in with mineral spirits on a Q-tip, and you just kind of dab it up. So here we are again. I think is a little bit better one here. This one I don't worry about the vertical streaks yet, but I'm just trying to clean off like the pustules and then sort of spots where it wouldn't be as grimy. Like at the top, you got to assume the grime would run down.
Mhm.
So like the top of things would be a little cleaner, the bottom of things would be a little dirtier. But yeah, just kind of creating some visual interest over top of that green. And I love this stuff. I've kind of looked at this stuff for years and was like, man, I think I want some of that, but I'm not real sure. And then sort of here's the finished look post I streak and grime the whole thing. The yellow still comes through in some of those spots as long as you kind of clean it off well. You get that pussy yellow kind of look there. The pink definitely got knocked back a tone, but like it still works.
Mhm.
And I think it does tie the model together well when you're using metallics and speed paints and traditional paints mixed with speed paints. And then, so here we are with the initial one I did years ago, which this might have been like the first Death Guard anything I painted was this Plague Burst Crawler over here.
Mhm.
And then now we have what I believe is I'm going to finally decide on my Death Guard color, my green at least, is going to be with the Rhino over here.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the variation. I know we've talked about this before when you're looking at this. Like your crawler, yeah, it looks good, but you're definitely seeing it side by side. You're like, it's just like too clean in a
It's
way.
kind of too pretty. I think I'm
Yeah,
going to go back and I'm going to put the Shrieking Grime on this crawler too.
yeah, you totally could. And I mean, yeah, like I know you've went through into the steps of making it look nergly, but then when you put it next to that, you're like, oh, like that one's like taken to the next level.
Yeah, it's grimy, it's dirty. There's some Space Marines that'll have their own video coming up here soon. Um, or Plague Marines. But
Mhm.
yeah, so this was kind of the inspiration, the before, and then this is I think a lot of this Plague Burst Rhino is it's me being a better painter than I was, how many ever years ago.
Mhm.
The exhaust trick, like I wasn't as simple as it was. Granted, did I have speed paints when I painted this Rhino? I think I did. I think this was this would have only been a year ago then. Speed paints have only been out for a year, right?
They might have been
They've
on
been
for
out for 2
2 years.
years now. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they came out in spring. They might have been out for 2 years. So this Rhino is probably like 2 years ago then. That's about the time we got into Warhammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um or the crawler, I mean. The crawler's probably about 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And then the Rhino is, I mean, that's 2 years of learning right there, folks.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool. I think the modeling idea, behind it's cool because you have instead of just having, like, a traditional rhino that you Nurgle-fy a little bit, you're like, "Hey, let's get this concept of the crawler and, like, mash it in with the rhino, and
Yeah.
it'll it'll
Someday
it'll look cool."
someday when we have, professional streamer guy monies, I would like to buy the legitimate GW parts and craft a plague burst rhino out of like the real parts.
Mhm.
But I have a 3D printer, so why would I do such a thing right now? But yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. Don't forget to hit us with some YouTube things. And this video was a little late, depending on when it comes out. It may extend 6 weeks of SLAPCHOP one additional week, or maybe we'll just drop a few videos at the same time or close to the same time in the same week here soon. But we'll see. Uh, let us know what you guys think, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.